Hello and welcome to today's video. My name is Cam Ward and today I'm going to be breaking down a music video I co-directed, shot and edited recently. If you haven't seen the video already, I'll leave a link to it in the description below. But if you have, I'm going to be breaking it down. So first thing is first with this video is that we had a very tight schedule. We only had one day to shoot it and the budget was £800, which is about $1,000 in the US. Now I wanted to break this video down because I think it's a very good example of utilizing your network to add production value at a very low cost. So essentially with this video, my friend Alexander Barder, he produced this video and he did a bloody good job, I think, of really utilizing his network. We shot this on the RED Scarlet-W. I bought this camera a couple of years ago and we used the Atlas Orion Anamorphic lenses. I've been wanting to get my hands on these lenses for a while now, so this was a really good time to rent these out and give them a go. So let's get straight into it. For me, it's all about grabbing the viewer's attention in the first 10 seconds, and we wanted a really short, sharp opening intro sequence for this film. And not only that, is we could actually take that short trailer there and use it on Instagram for socials and promotional material. So for this intro sequence here, it was all just done with natural light. There's a window just in front of them there, so this window here is providing all the natural light. Bathroom sequence, really cool actually, because we only shot this with 3 lights. We had 2 tube lights. I'm going to call them tube lights because they're actually called Nanguang RGB. I'm going to butcher that name, so I'm going to leave a link to them in the description below. They're pretty cheap, they're about £300. Great lights though, full RGB, and we use the aperture 300D as well. So we had a light just rigged up above our actor here, above the mirror. Super simple, and just add a little bit of smoke for a bit of atmosphere. That's a pro tip right there. Always add smoke if you can. It just adds a little bit of something, you know. I love shooting on these anamorphic lenses. I thought the look they gave was really soft, but we did try to avoid opening them up to, I think they opened up to about 2.8, but they were a little bit too soft at that point. So we also didn't have a focus puller because budget. So on the restaurant scene, we used mostly practical lighting. This is probably the weakest area of the video here because we couldn't find anywhere to rig up our lights. There was no power. We couldn't turn the practicals off in the location either. So it is what it is. It doesn't look great. So for this bit here, it's just the tube light. Set to a strobe setting with a bit of smoke added in for haze and atmosphere. We actually have a UV light just above our actors coming down the stairs here. One of the things we did with this shoot, just to get a little bit of extra budget, was you'll see shortly the outfits that our kind of robbers are wearing. It's actually a fashion line. So we turned this into a little bit of a fashion line / music video shoot just to squeeze a little bit of extra budget. So this bit, I really like these scenes here. It's dark and moody and I like a lot of contrast, edgy lighting and stuff like that. Yeah, there's some tubes in the ceiling like panels. Our gaffer Josh rigged up a light just in between them just to give a bit of top light. Again, the great thing about those tube lights is you can match them. We can match it to the practicals. So you can see on the right, it matches the neon signs on the left that were already in there. We also had one just rigged above our lead actor here. Again, just trying to avoid stopping down too much. It was very hard to pull focus shooting handheld on my own. So this is kind of one of our first and probably one of our only shots that we used a slider for. It was very slow and controlled movement. For the rest of it, it was all handheld, as I said, because it's just kind of the way I like to shoot. When people look at stuff like this, they go, oh, I can tell you've shot it because it looks like your style. And my style is just very handheld and a little bit chaotic. And again, we didn't have the money to have focus pullers and wireless monitors and all that good stuff. But, you know, it is what it is. Work with what you've got. We're still shooting on a bloody RED, so it wasn't like the worst thing ever. Some very poor looking drugs there, not ideal. Again, same setup as before. We really had to utilize our time. So once we did a lighting setup for a scene, if we knew we needed to do it again, as you would, you just do everything you need to shoot at the same time there. So fun story about these outfits, actually. In terms of utilizing what you have and who you know and stuff like that, about 10 years ago, I used to shoot a lot of action films and short films. So I actually already had all these SWAT outfits. That's same with the guns as well. We had all these prop guns from years ago. I think if we didn't have the stuff we already had in terms of the camera, the outfits, the props, all that, it would have cost us a fortune. I don't think we'd be able to actually do the video. So again, utilizing your network, find out who you know who owns something, and just see if they can do you a favor and borrow it. This shot here, just to kind of spice it up a little bit, we wanted to put a smoke machine just underneath pipes there, just to give the effect of like a leaky pipe. I thought it'd be cool to have these SWAT guys coming through the smoke. Again, just a top light. Here's the aperture 300D, just to give them a little bit of light. I really like these shots here, they're pretty cool. All practical lighting done up in there, again, just to create shadows and silhouettes. So first visual effects shot. I'm not a bloody visual effects king or anything. I think I did an alright job of it. I used to do a lot of muzzle flash and stuff like that when I was shooting these action short films. I did a little scale up on the actual shot just to add a little bit of extra punch, and added some anamorphic flare because we were shooting on anamorphic lenses, so that flare would be there. We did have some punchier sound effects, but they sounded a bit too much, so I had to scale them back a little bit. Also, our actor didn't drop to the floor, which added the sound of someone dropping to the floor. Every day of my life gets a little bit... Again, same shot as before, but this time we're just reversing, pulling it out on the slider. The slider we used for this was the Roshan? That's, I don't know. The slider we used for this was the Rhino Motion slider. Really cool bit of kit, and I'm going to do a full video on that another time. Really bad looking drugs. Again, tight time schedule. When we initially planning this film, we only had like a week to plan it. But when we were initially planning it, I wanted a really aggressive, nasty little gunshot coming in here. I wanted it to feel violent. So when the blood sprayed across his face, there we shot about 200 frames per second. The aperture 300D just on it. You can kind of see it in his eyes there a little bit, just off to the side. So this red room, we shot this in the morning when we were shooting the other bathroom scenes. These tube lights, they're great because they're RGB, and there's a lot you can do with them. So we just switched it to red and just shot some alternate scenes. And we wanted to get into like this is the point where like our main character kind of switches over to like, yeah, I'm going through with this job and I'm gonna do whatever it takes. At this point, it's kind of like his mental psyche. Again, that was one of the shots I really wanted to make it as sharp as possible. When he pulls that gun and shoots, I just wanted it to be like a bang, like we're into the vans, we're into it now, let's go. Again, super simple setup, aperture 300D bouncing off the back wall there, and I think we had a tube light on low power just above. But yeah, that was, again, tube lights in the ceiling, just in the back up there. We only had 2 lights, so we had to be pretty limited and kind of tactical about how we used them. Getting that timing was bloody hard. Like, for it to seem realistic without him being shot, like this policeman. There, blood spray on the window. It's pretty subtle, it's kind of hard to see, but we just had a little spray can and we just sprayed it when we thought it would, go on there. Gunshots here. I don't think these ones look great, but it was kind of pretty tricky to do. And again, such a tight turnaround and schedule. So bang, bang, bang. You can see the anamorphic flare because we would have anamorphic flare because we're shooting on anamorphic lenses. Same setup as before. The lights are just rigged up, set to a strobe setting. They have special effects settings as well, these tube lights. So that's really good. And a bit of smoke for the atmosphere as well. Oh, I really like the shot coming up here. This with the UV light, which wanted a bit of backlight and some smoke and create this silhouette just escaping. That was cool. So here I just kind of let the actor play this out a few different times. I just go in handheld and just followed him just to capture kind of a variety of different moments. The police lights are just the tube lights set to a special effects mode, which was just RGB police mode. It was a challenge not to open the lens up even more here because we were at about f4 still. This is a variety of presets. It was just a way to kind of fill in this last minute or so. A lot of overlays being used here, black and white. I thought it'd be cool to kind of reset and just cycle through the video and use some of the unused footage we didn't have a chance to put in the actual full video. Again, I really like the shot of the silhouettes, all natural light. Just stop down the lens a little bit to silhouette them. And I do think these shots at the end maybe last a little bit too long, but we didn't have that much more to add in, and it is what it is, isn't it? So that's it. I think it's pretty straightforward. There are definitely elements of this video where it could have been improved in terms of, like, if we had the budget for a colorist, that definitely would have made a massive difference. A few extra lights would have been great. But on the whole, it was just about utilizing the network that we had, pull in a lot of favors and execute this video. The reason we took on this project was because the artist said, do whatever you want. At the end of the day, it did cost us a bit of money, and the budget wasn't great. We didn't get paid for it. We're not really here to make money, are we? We're here just to make cool shit and have fun. So that was kind of that's just how I do operate in this environment. You know, if we can make money, that's great. But if it's a cool project, then that's also great.